Welcome to 3 on the Ones and Twos with your hosts, Tom, Cassie, and James. Just 3 old friends talking about their favorite records. Think of it as the coolest book club for music nerds.
Man, it's like 36 degrees in Oakhurst / Decatur, Georgia. Shout out to Armando and Donald, the Durant brothers, Seth, everyone at Scepter Brewing.
Shout out to Gil Durant. I mean, I haven't seen him in a long time.
Oh my
but,
goodness. One of my favorite guitar
it's
players.
almost Christmas time, and
that's a Gil Durant moment.
One of
Yeah.
my favorite
Durant's
guitar
Christmas.
players and the Swedish Humans. And I think you guys were label mates for a minute. There's a lot going on here
The
that we can talk
connection.
around this fire. So the best thing about
we're at Ground Zero.
Yeah.
Mood Swing Ground Zero, Rizzuto.
Totally.
All we need is
Kiss.
Kip and Chuck, but that's not going to happen.
Chuck's
Yeah.
in Greece right now doing bad things.
Yeah.
I texted with him earlier.
Okay.
So shout out Chuck and shout out Kip.
Yeah.
Record Plug Magazine, everyone, what's up?
Yeah.
So the thing about this is, and I feel so, it's so weird using the word fortunate, so I'll just say, I feel so lucky because when it comes to friendship and music and rock and roll and love, well, my name is, Richard Branson. Like, I'm very lucky with that. This guy, I played music with, I've shared the stage with, playing shows with. I know you as well, James. But I've also flipped pizzas with and done some of the most immature things in the world with that I'm still very proud of, because be a good man, be a good husband, be a good father, be a good brother, good being son, but still laugh at really immature jokes. And some of the best times of my life. And we were talking about getting him on for a while now. And this record absolutely slays. I can't think of any other way to describe it. So I'm glad we're finally talking about it. But drummer, friend, father, husband, incredulous human.
Gentle lover.
Gentle lover. He's really, really gentle when he loves on you.
Yeah.
Mack Cole. What's up, brother?
Thank you. That was quite an intro.
Well, the goal is that James and I, we try to make our guests just blush.
Yeah.
Make you feel good.
It worked.
Cheers.
It's so cold. I think I was blushing already.
Just now it's 20. Now it's 20.
It's freezing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's quiet out here. It's beautiful by a campfire. Talk about this record. I think everyone has heard of this band.
I mean, I just found out about it from Stranger Things, So it's funny you say that because
I know you.
we
brought
talked
notes.
about this
Yeah.
about 3-4 months ago, and I got drunk one night.
Yes, I love this.
Listened to it about 3 times and just jotted down shit, and then I ended up going over it recently and scratched out half of it, but it's hilarious. We'll get into that.
I want to
later.
get into that.
But yeah.
Metallica, good band.
Yeah.
We have to show the record
so
so
do
you
you
know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Although it's on the whatever. It's on
Master
the
of
title of the
Puppets.
podcast.
Yes.
Master of Puppets. Yes, everyone will hear this.
Yes.
So I listened to it. I actually called Mac today after sleeping 2 hours last night, and
It's a typical Tom Cheshire
working 14,
Wednesday night.
Good night
and
sleep,
working
right.
14 hours. I go, is this the record? And he goes, yeah. He goes, what are you doing? I'm going to jump in the shower, drink a beer, and listen to this record.
Yep.
Listen to it in the shower, drinking a beer.
Yeah.
Did you have a shower beer?
The perfect
I had 2 shower beers, and they both. I don't know which one was better than the other. It was awesome.
Nice.
Maybe we just talked for a second about shower beer.
Yeah.
And
They make a shower beer holder.
Yes, they do.
cold versus the hots. And
Yes.
Well, I'm a huge fan of hot,
It's great.
especially in this time of the year. But man, my skin's real sensitive, and I've been going cold lately.
Yeah.
oh my
good.
God.
I'm crazy.
I mean, you got to try new stuff,
This is shocking.
You got to experiment.
You got to try.
So talk to me about Master
Okay,
of Puppets.
but,
When you came to me, you were
Back
like,
to
I want to be
Metallica.
on the show, and I want to talk about this record that changed my teenage, adolescent, going through puberty years.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's discuss real quickly the recent thing around Master of Puppets. It was in Stranger Things, very popular show.
I work in television. I didn't even know that.
Well, you don't know this?
No.
Okay, so I haven't
I
watched
know
the show.
Kate Bush song got
Well,
huge.
So did Master of Puppets.
Okay, so
those two songs.
Did you know this?
Like they didn't need to know. Well, my 11-year-old daughter asked me if I had Master of
That's how
Puppets
I know
on
about
vinyl.
it.
Wow.
My buddy Zach Smith, shout out, his son
Shout
was
out Zach.
blasting it in his
Shout out
room
to
recently.
Cassie behind the scenes.
But so yeah, there's been a lot of talk about it.
I didn't know this.
So yeah, a kid plays the solo on top of like a trailer to like fight demons. I don't know, but it's the real song, and apparently the kid learned how to play the actual solo, so he's really doing it, and he's been on stage with them doing it.
That's pretty
and
cool.
James Hetfield dressed up like the kid for
James
Halloween.
Hetfield isn't playing that solo.
No, he doesn't, but he dressed up like the kid. But so I was a little, I was thinking maybe I ought to change what record, you know,
that's right.
because just because it's like all
It's
TikTok.
everywhere.
It's like TikToked out.
Are we
yeah.
going to talk about Hounds of Love next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So you haven't been watching?
Yeah, I have no
you're
idea
out
what
of the
that
loop.
is.
So
I'm
Tom, I love that you don't know
I
this
just found
about
out
this.
that I just found
It's
out that-
like
I just-
everywhere.
I
Right, there's
found
this
out
thing
that
called
Brad and
Netflix.
Angelina split
Yeah,
up.
okay.
Like,
I mean, this is like already old news now.
Yeah.
And somebody tried to cancel him too.
What?
Like, yeah, no.
Do not try that.
So, but yeah, so I stuck with it because
I'm glad you did.
as a music lover, I know you two,
We're nerds.
Cassie, I know are
we are just, at the end of the day, we're nerds. And on top of that, like when James and I text, the word fan is short for fanatic, and we're fanatics.
Yeah.
We're crazy about it.
Well, I feel like there's two different kinds of music people. There's people who like music a lot, and they might even know quite a bit about it. And then there's people who will cry listening to a record.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Openly.
I
Openly.
cry.
And
I cry
admit
every
it,
day.
yeah.
I cry every day to songs.
Oh, yeah. And so
I think at one
there's a-
time I told you I cried twice a day, and you were like, Tom, that's the manliest thing I've ever heard.
yeah,
there is
I remember that. You're like, I cried
There's
twice
a fan
every
letter
day.
about crying to records.
Yes.
To say, yeah.
Marlo too. I remember him saying something about that at some point. I think
I can
somebody
see
gave
Marlo
Shout out
grieving.
Marlo.
somebody gave him some
Happy
grief
50th
about
birthday,
it.
Marlo.
Yeah.
Marlo will cry to a record.
So one, I'm glad you stuck to your guns, and also two, I'm not that allegiance or loyal as a fan to worry about the backlash that Metallica is going to get because of the show Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Or,
Well,
like,
it's
so,
done.
So good for them.
No.
Whatever, not that they needed to sell any more records, but good for them.
They,
But
they,
if the
they're
rec-
back on the top
if the re-
20 because
if
of
the record is good, the record's good, and this record is great.
it. It's amazing.
Is it the best Metallica record?
Okay, I mean, I knew you were going to dig in here.
Here we go.
I'm going to say, for me, yes. Now, Ride the Lightning is
That's
as
very
close
very
to
close.
the perfection. And I will say,
They hit
if
the
Cliff,
mark.
if Cliff Burton would have lived, I think Injustice for All would have been an amazing. It's a great record. I actually really like
It's
it.
a good record.
But the recording is terrible. The bass
Sure.
is terrible.
Sure.
Bob Rock is the devil.
Bob Rock doesn't rock.
All right.
Wait, he's not even on that.
Shots
I'm sorry.
are
Wait,
fired.
Bob Rock is on the Black record, the Black album.
Right.
But
Okay,
so
Which means he slowed them
But,
down.
but the thing is
But-
because we're all Cliff fans.
Yeah.
so
Sure,
Cliff
sure.
rules.
I mean,
and you can say Metallica was not the same after them.
definitely
and
not. Even though they got a great, new person. He was in Flotsam
Sure.
and Jetsam.
Sure.
He had the crazy shaved Jason Newsted cut thing, and he's
so-
great.
He was desert.
He
man.
wore
was
like
desert.
DRI t-shirts, but it's still.
It was a far lower
Yes.
sort of.
Well, he was 80s and
bass
Cliff was
player.
70s.
True.
That's another thing.
He wore bell
Cliff
bottoms,
was
yeah.
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Cliff was
They
Black
should have gotten.
Cliff was Black
Geezer.
Sabbath.
They should have gotten Geezer Butler.
Exactly.
They probably
Anyway.
could have.
At that point, they should.
Yeah.
It would have been think about
So,
that. So just quickly, and I know we're going too far.
That's okay.
forward,
I expect
but-
this to bounce around a lot.
but
That's fine.
Should they have stopped after Injustice for All? Or
No.
should
I
do you
don't-
think Metallica's reputation
I
would have
love
been,
these notes already.
Hold on.
I love
I'm gonna
these
show them
notes.
to you.
got a question.
I was hammered when I took these notes. Look, this right here
these
just says
notes are
this right
amazing.
here just says alcoholica.
True. And by the way, it's true.
on the back?
So okay, there's a couple things I dug up about the period of time that this record was made. First off, I read just recently that they stayed sober on recording days of this record.
Sure.
Which I find that hard to believe. Except that it is so tight, and I'm sure not easy to play.
I believe it.
And if you see them live anytime in the past 20
Actually,
years, they're pretty all over the place.
I believe that. I also can't believe that. I think you and I have the same exact handwriting.
Well, like a 6-year-old. It's a 6-year-old.
Your M's look just like my M's, and my N's look like your N's.
Yeah. So I think something super special about this record is the records that came out the same year. It's like the 77 of punk.
You sure?
86 was that for metal.
Just as important.
So Rain and Blood Slayer,
Big time, yeah.
Megadeth Peace Cells, Iron Maiden Somewhere in Time, not the best, but very good.
But the first album of Iron Maiden I had probably.
It's a great record.
me too.
It's an
Me
important
too.
It's the one you could get at Turtle.
It's an important record.
But then some weird one, Eye Against Eye, Bad Brains, same year.
Yeah.
Actually,
ST.
probably more important than any of those records is that record.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, and then also Sam Hain 3, November
Yeah.
Coming Fire, and Age of Coral Chromax. What a fucking
Great.
crazy period of time
So that
for
was.
music.
So you had 10 great records that came out that year.
Oh, there's more.
86. I mean, well, you.
Ultimate Sin Ozzy,
So 77
great
and
If you're
record.
gonna go
86.
punk, you're gonna go way 86 is a big.
Yeah.
But yeah, for metal.
77 and 86 might be the most important years in rock.
In a way,
Yeah.
it kind of is the mature. What Judas Priest album was 86?
It came out the year before.
God, I don't know. I want to say Turbo Lover because that's my favorite name, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
But also, that's what they used to call them in high school.
It's sort of all that hit its stride. That was David High School. There you go.
They called me Quick Trip. It was horrible.
But also, okay, and then I also think something interesting about the popularity of like what popular music was doing at this time. Here's the top 4 songs of 1986. Lionel Richie's "Say You, Say Me." Beautiful song, but let's be honest.
Also,
it's pretty light.
Yeah,
it's pretty light.
yeah.
It's not exactly breaking.
Wait, wasn't
Shower
but
Bear
Anthrax
song,
hadn't been big at that time?
They Among the Living came out the next year.
That's a great record.
Very good. Wait, actually no, it's in here.
That
It was the
came
same
at the
year.
end of the 86. Among the Living's a fantastic record.
New Jersey.
Don't
Yeah.
let me forget we got to do the Big 4 thing because I got something.
Yes, no, we're gonna go 3 hours. We're going 3 hours.
But no, Lionel Richie. Okay, Eddie Murphy, "Party All the Time."
That's a great
fucking
song.
awesome
Written
song.
by Rick James.
Yes, awesome song.
Shout out to
Almost
Scott
as
Morris.
good as.
Dance on the Ceiling.
No, wait. What's the other Eddie Murphy one that's super dirty? My kids think it's hilarious.
Simple Minds.
Boogie in Your Butt.
So
Boogie in Your
Simple
Butt.
Minds Alive and Kicking.
Yeah.
Which I'm a huge Simple Minds fan.
Yeah.
Wasn't even written by the band. It was written by an English writer who wrote the song originally for Billy Idol.
Right.
He turned it down and they used it. So that kind of sucks.
So that's those three. Those three.
So this is
Party
wild.
All the Time. Is Scott Morris playing it on New Year's Eve at Elmere.
I love Party All the Time.
It's
a great song.
Actually, it's pretty much my way of life.
I mean, it is a good
I
song.
party all the time.
Eddie Murphy has got just
that
enough
song
vocal
kills
talent.
it. If
He's a
you're
great
in
singer.
if you're in Elmere
Oh yeah.
on New Year's Eve at 11:59,
So
12:01.
I'm looking at these notes.
So Turbo
Wait, I
was-
scratched this shit out. Let's go to something
Turbo
else here.
was the Judas Priest album on
Okay.
86, but still,
That's a great record.
yeah. I do think that it's when metal sort of hit its stride, but wasn't sort of. It was still in its like sort of glory days.
Yeah.
golden
It was still fast, like when people talk about like English metal,
Yeah.
like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. It wasn't until after like Theater of Pain that the cheesy metal came in, like Molly Crew
Sure,
stuff in
sure, the
'87
glam
or something.
metal.
Right, and that
So
is where I was coming
That's
from.
very cool. That it still had a punk element that you
Yes.
could see the lineage of Thin Lizzy and Motorhead
Yeah.
and the other shit. You know, which is
I
very
came from like the first bands I was ever really a fan of was like I got into Ozzy somehow, Scorpions, and even
Love
Dokken, Rat, all that '80s
Yeah.
hair metal shit. But there was always something about it where I was like, there's something about this. It's awesome. I love it. But like, and then Metallica, I flipped through like a Kerrang magazine. That's how I think I discovered even the name or who they were.
And it
I
probably
was like,
said- it probably-
these guys are fucking ugly.
Yeah, there's
They
no-
look like they would like hold up, you and your buddies like for cigarettes, and
right.
Yep.
it's like they're riding skateboards. I was like, these are my fucking guys
They
right
were living
here.
in a practice space out of
Yes.
U-Haul in Queens, New York,
Yes.
Jamaica, Queens.
And so then I immediately
represent.
I got the cassette for Master Puppets, and I actually got it. I was a little late. Garage Days was already out, so Cliff Burton had died. So all on the same like Christmas, like my brother got me Master of Puppets and Cliff Amal.
Your brother's
the
awesome,
video.
by the way. Your
Yeah,
brother
he's
is a
great.
shout out.
And so Cliff Amal, which is, if anyone's seen it, it is for fans. It's not like polished, produced. A lot of the video is terrible, but and so I kind of got quickly schooled on Metallica. Like Cliff Burton died. This guy was the shit. Now Jason Newsted, and you got to admit, like from the beginning of Garage Days, the drums that start. I mean, it's awesome. That record, I think, is fucking killer.
So the thing is you become a fan of. I'd love one. Thank you, Cassie. Yes,
I'll take it,
I plan on joining Alcoholica tonight.
And I would like you to read these as like poetry.
Yes. So the thing is, but this is pretty awesome, because so you become a fan of Cliff's. And he's already gone.
He's already gone.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah,
That's most Metallica fans.
yeah, and what a legend. I mean, like and then you hear the story. You hear the story about they pulled straws, and he pulled the straw to get the good bunk, and now the good bunkers will kill him.
Yes.
and that's heartbreaking.
Nobody else was hurt.
Yes, Alcoholica.
And so
Most performed
here's some Wikipedia information.
Sanitarium.
And Master of Puppets. Those are the
Master of
two
Puppets.
most consistently
Least
played.
Orion.
Orion. My favorite song
Yes.
of all time.
A beautiful song.
I actually have.
Which, by the way, Jeffrey Butcher, at the age of 8 years old, used to play drums with his mom playing Orion on the piano.
Fuck.
Did you know this story?
That would make me cry right there.
And basically, he said he called her a sellout when she started listening to what's the band that begins with a Q?
Not Quicksand.
Queensryche. He goes, I stopped listening. I started hanging out with my mom when she started listening to Queensryche. But Butcher's also
I get that. But
so wait, the sleeper of a record.
No. See, this is drunken scribbling.
So, but you're describing
the song that I consider the sleeper on the record is questionably the best song besides Orion.
No, I can hear that.
Disposable Heroes,
Great song.
First song on the second side. It's just, I mean, I was listening to it on the way here. It's just like if you're in a shitty mood or whatever, or in a great mood, it might even bring it down.
Right. Well, see, so Metallica really were the band that I would say. Next to Thin Lizzy and Motorhead, branched punk and metal together.
One of many,
You know
but
what I
I
mean?
feel
You know
like
what I
they
mean?
did
You know
it.
what I mean? Like,
for
you know,
me,
like-
it was the best version of all of those two things.
Because they clearly, listen, every time you saw them, they were wearing either Ramones or Misfits shirts.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
you know, I basically discovered all of the bands going after them
they were so
from Metallica.
When they got big, they were so kind to the Ramones.
Yes.
And I
And
love
everybody.
bands who do that, where they sort of link to other bands,
Yes.
especially back then. You know, it was
I've actually
like,
heard word from several people. Could probably get shot for this on our show, but that even before Jason, I'm sorry, not Newsted. After Newsted left, they offered the bass position to C.J. Ramone. Before Rob Trujillo from Suicide Tendencies.
Wow.
But his daughter was very sick, and he was like, yes, I can make a lot of money and pay for my daughter's surgeries, but I want to be home and be with my daughter.
Sure.
And he kindly said,
you have to give your life to
thank you for,
something like that.
and he does, obviously, he's like, thank you for the offer, but I can't do this. You know? And I've met C.J. Ramone and hung out with him. He's awesome, and I'm a huge Ramones fan, like, that's rad. But
So they did ask Geddy Lee to produce this record. And they were in talks with him, and then something happened.
I never heard that.
He ended up going overseas for something, and so they did same dude who did Ride the Lightning. They recorded it in Sweden, Denmark. Okay, I'm looking at my notes.
Scandinavia.
One of those countries. It's where Lars Ulrich is
hey,
from.
by the way, I'm gonna read the last line of Max notes. Says breakdown. Fuck. So obviously he loves the breakdowns.
I was like, that breakdown.
That breakdown.
Fuck.
Dude, I want to just.
That's how you got to say it.
So Cliff Amal, we talked about that.
Yep. All right, this is a big one right here. So at the end of that movie, they play Orion. They play the crazy
Orion,
slow
yes.
part, and they just show pictures of him. And I swear to God, it'll bring you to fucking tears.
Sure.
No matter what age, if you care, I mean, because it's crazy. They show his mom, they show his dad, his dad's still alive.
They're still close with his dad. When they win
Yes.
awards, his dad comes out with them, which is wonderful.
Right. And so that song also has a bass solo in it that I didn't even know was a bass because it's all distorted. It's got a wah thing on it.
It sounds like a weird organ or something.
And it's like,
Cassie,
it's as good as any
wave
of them.
to these people, please.
Yay.
Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you.
I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is Cliff Amal was. I mean, I just watched that shit on repeat, Betamax style. I mean,
Yeah.
Betamax. I think.
Yeah.
Everything was VHS and beta back then.
Yeah.
They really were like, in many ways, like the Ramones. They came out as like these untouchable but very relatable, like cartoon characters,
Yep.
like superheroes. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like
And-
you'll hear people say that like they would see the Ramones like in an alley in New York, like doing a bump, and they were like they looked like they were gonna
Sniffing
fucking
glue.
they were gonna fucking attack you, and that's what Metallica looked
Sure,
like,
without
then,
a doubt. Yeah.
Except they had skateboards.
Yeah, without a doubt. And what an important band. And the thing is the place that they practice out, that you hear them talk about in Queens, where they kicked out,
Dave Mustaine.
Like, I used to buy things from these Rastafarians there. when I was-
Incense.
Yeah. These nickel bags of incense from that area when I was 16.
wasn't very good, but it worked.
When I was 16 years old, But like, it's like, when you can see the story, and whether it's the songs and things are painted, and you hear these stories, and you can see like the U-Haul that they woke up Dave Mustaine and said, "Oh, you got to go," like whatever. Everything becomes so much more believable because they really are. They're just ugly, rad, like Levi's jeans guys who were very real.
And we have to mention too, obviously, way pre-internet, it's like all of your knowledge of these guys was from the liner notes, the handful of interviews
Metal
you'd find,
records,
and pictures.
Yeah.
And so it's
Whatever
like
you can
you've
see
got
in
this
magazines.
this idea of them that's kind of what you want it to be at that point. You're like, okay,
whatever it
these
is.
guys are
Well, no,
gross.
if
They
you already
skateboard. I love it.
If you come from a comic book background, this is your new comic book.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Without a doubt.
Exactly.
I can say they were the perfect band for a person of that age being.
Definitely.
I mean, you started listening to them when you were
12.
12.
Yeah.
Exactly, just perfect timing.
Right.
Funny thing is, I never listened to them in that era.
Yeah.
Right.
For some reason, I listened to Iron Maiden, I listened to Anthrax. I
We've
listened
talked about
to
Wow, okay.
A lot of bands around them, but for some reason,
That's surprising.
I never listened to Metallica,
Well, so-
just through happenstance. But it's funny when I listen to them as later on, when I would
You
listen to the
understand,
albums,
yeah.
I understand it, but I was like, man, I wish I could. I
Well,
wish I
so-
could listen to this as a 12-year-old because
It surprised me a little bit too because
Yeah.
of all those bands. Well, maybe Megadeth is excluded, but Metallica had that
I
kind of
listened to
mathy-ish
Megadeth, too.
thing.
I don't know why. It's this weird.
There's a lot of
blind spot.
classical.
They do, yeah. They do a lot of the weird off-time things that don't really sound off-time until you try to play them, and you realize how
So-
weird they
What I
are.
like about them is that, honestly, and I'm being very honest here, is that they're almost that you can skate to them.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
sure.
really wish it's like, and the Misfits are also a band of that
Yes,
time
yeah.
where I feel like I got into them too late to truly appreciate
Sure,
them.
sure.
And it hurts a little bit.
Here's a question: do you think the Misfits would be even half as big a thing as they are now without Metallica? I
You're
mean,
right.
the T-shirt.
Or Steve Caballero wearing
Yeah.
the Misfits
Wow.
Yeah.
Crimson
It's
Ghost.
like they still
Yeah.
will bust out. You'll like
So I work with a guy. I'm not going to say names, but actually, I was talking to him about us doing this, and he said he had never heard "Last Caress" until Metallica covered it.
I hadn't
and I
either.
was like, "Are you kidding
Oh.
me?" And
I hadn't
And
either.
I think a lot of people hadn't.
No,
I mean, that was their first.
I was
that
12.
their first,
I was 12 or
exposure.
13. Yeah.
Because it's not like.
And then, do you remember when you heard the
tapes are
Misfits
sitting
version?
around.
No, and also they were recorded poorly, and they were done.
Yeah.
Well,
When I finally heard Misfits, like I went to Wax and
you got
Facts,
it. You immediately
rode
get
the
it.
bus, little 5 points, first time there.
Yep.
I met Shane Morton, the first punk rocker I'd ever met.
Shout out Shane.
He's like
Morton.
Wax and Facts. Go in there, get a couple of cassettes, and I even
He's
remember
like,
it
get
was-
yourself a little smoke a little something behind the building, and you're gonna be.
I got Legacy of Brutality,
Yes.
which was the awesome black cassette with the white art even on the thing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But I remember I got it home and I was like, this sounds like fucking Metallica's like younger brother trying to cover.
And they were doing it.
So
before,
it's just
yeah.
going backwards,
Yeah.
you know.
You
But then, of
That's a
course,
great
once I
point.
start listening to it, I got it. And then I mean, I love Misfits. I love just about everything they've done.
I still do.
I wouldn't know who they are if it weren't for Metallica.
That's a great point.
Because I wouldn't have discovered them until years later, and I would have thought it was stupid.
And the other point is like when you flirting with earlier, talking about like the Big Four thing. It's like whether you got into it at that point or later on, it's like you know why you can see why they made it that big.
Yeah.
You totally can. Like,
yeah.
Because on top of all that, they got themselves straight and they were ambitious.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're like insane.
They played the game.
Well, and it's like,
they played it right.
Megadeth, there was always that element of shittiness
Although
to them because
Megadeth's
he
new
was
album's
always so
amazing.
pissed.
Megadeth's new album's
It's
really
good. I like it.
better
But
than-
he's always been so shitty, and everybody knows that. I think
Right.
that holds.
And his
then
voice you don't like. You know,
Anthrax, and we'll get into the Big Four thing, but the only reason I love some Anthrax, I met Scott Ian and Charlie Benante
I heard
recently.
you had dinner with him. Nice, good for you.
Talked about how he invented the blast beat.
I went to see Depeche Mode with Scotty Benante, and we danced all night, and he was awesome. And I hung out with him at 2 different Beastie Boys concerts. Very cool guy. He's got good taste in music.
Yeah.
He's a kid from Queens.
Super nice,
Yeah,
super
they were
nice
all
dude.
awesome.
He's really short, and
Yeah.
I think he was a little freaked out by me, and he had COVID, I think, also at the time. But
He's like breathing into you. But he's worth it.
I got one
he's
picture with him, and he's just
breathing-
looking at me
he's
like.
breathing into your pecs. And
Yeah.
He's like, I got COVID. You know.
But so I respect Anthrax all the way.
love
I
Anthrax.
had the
Love Anthrax.
the evil, that nice fucking video was
Yeah.
and watched that incessantly. And like, I will say though, I'm the Man
Yeah.
is fucking awful. It's so
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, wait, well, no, they trade up with trying to do it, make money.
I
like a Beastie
understand.
Boys thing,
I
yeah.
understand what they were trying to do,
Sure.
but fuck, man, it's so bad. That's the only reason
It's
I would
the
put them
career
out
ender.
of the Big Four. And there's also like three other great bands
I
that
think
are
Exodus
vying
and
in there.
Testament should be in the Big
Testament,
Four.
Exodus, Death Angel.
Yeah, should be in.
And I think Death Angel would have to be my pick just because I have a almost
Who's
Master of
kicked out?
Puppets.
You can only pick
Anthrax
four.
is-
Anthrax.
Well, no,
just
I mean,
because of that.
No, because you're saying
Oh.
you've already kicked out 3 because you put in Exodus, Testament.
No. He's saying kick out Anthrax and
Yeah.
put Death Angel.
We
one
stay
of
with
those.
Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer.
they
They're
do.
solid.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know,
This is so much fun. I love it.
but yeah, and I feel guilty about the Anthrax thing
Don't
because I
feel
love
guilty.
them. Among the Living, if that came out now,
That
it's
record,
mind blowing.
That record is next level.
It's great.
But we need to talk
Maybe
more
I'll put it
about
on
this.
tomorrow.
So what's
Saw
the-
them recently, too.
what- Yeah, I know you did, and they were great.
They were amazing.
Actually, they've never been bad. What's the best song on this record?
Orion, 100%. So I am a paralegal,
It's
right?
like,
and I have a will. I actually wrote a
How did I
will.
not know that?
I am.
We used to make
years.
We used to make pieces together.
So I actually have a will because I've got kids, and at some point I was like, oh, I know how to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and write one.
I have a will too.
And in
Not
my
much on it.
will, I have written in there that at whatever
Orion.
party happens after my death, I want Orion on a loop. Sarah knows this. My kids know
Well, I
it.
got news for you.
I
We
want
know
that
now.
song because it goes up and down. It takes you up high, takes you low.
I have people who take care of me that have they know there's 200 songs that
Yeah.
I don't like now, but if I die tomorrow, they need to release them.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. I'll take care of you. I'll make sure
Yeah.
Orion's played at your funeral. Me and James,
Well,
James and I will dance.
We have some mutual friends who covered it.
Yeah.
Maybe they could play it live. I don't know. I don't know.
I was.
So yeah,
good
Mastodon
friends
has a
with
great
Neil.
cover version
great-
of
they were great
Orion.
covered, yeah.
Very good.
They did a great job
Almost
of it.
note for note, except a couple parts are a little different. And actually, I like the little change
Yeah,
they did.
it's wonderful.
But yeah, so Orion is like a big one
We
for
have
me.
a couple of friends. It is beautiful, and it makes sense that like when it's truth. But Butcher playing it. His mom was his piano teacher, and she loved classical music because that's what you were talking about, James. The math to it. It's classical music.
Yeah.
Slayer, like this classical music to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be appreciated in that kind of more, higher level way. And I think it to a certain extent it does, but if you think about it, is rock going in that direction
Without
in a
doubt.
way.
Sure.
And that's the difference between them and the Misfits, where the Misfits is 3 chords. But,
Sure.
I mean, still love the Misfits. But it's like, there really is, you dissect this and you break it down, and you have strings and harps and violins and brass, and all of a sudden it's this gorgeous composition.
Well, that actually brings up the S&M phase of Metallica, which is fucking awful, and it's hard to watch.
Yes.
I understand what they were going for.
When they cut their hair?
No, and
Later
they've
on.
done multiple performances with like the San Francisco Symphony
Yeah,
Orchestra.
yeah.
It's bad. It's real bad.
I've never seen any of it.
Oh,
What
it's,
about,
it's bad.
What are your thoughts on the Lulu album?
The Lou Reed one, I have listened to maybe 3 songs, and
bad. It's
I feel
bad.
like it was, I feel like it was a bunch of rich dudes who are looking to do something really crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe inspired by one night
I think
of drinking and drugs.
Lou Reed has, and I'm a huge Lou Reed fan, but he's notoriously, every interview you hear, he was just a dick to people, whatever.
Sure.
Love Lou Reed, but they're like, oh, he's an artist, and he goes, I want to do something with him. They're like, let's do it.
Yeah.
They're open-minded to it, and the shit can be just
Yeah,
horrible.
I get
They just
it. I
did.
get it. They were, it's like you can't say no, but they should have. I think. What are your thoughts?
They
man?
should have said no.
What do you think
mean,
about it?
They should have said no.
It's hard to compare.
They should have
because
said no. That's the name of it. They should have said no.
You have 2 albums by two legendary artists at the end of their life.
Right.
And so you have the David Bowie Black Star album,
Beautiful album.
and you have the Lou Reed Lulu album.
Yeah.
They're both
Black Star's amazing.
They're both-
Lou Reed and then Metallica isn't.
they're both albums about their own deaths.
Sure.
And
Good.
they're very, serious. Obviously, like the David Bowie one, I can't even listen to.
It's beautiful though.
Well,
It's beautiful.
It is way too heavy for me to do. And then the Lou Reed Metallica one is just aesthetically is not my thing.
Yeah.
But
Good
I do
point.
appreciate.
I don't think it's aesthetically anybody's thing.
I don't think it's
Right.
anybody's
It's-
thing.
I mean, have you ever heard anyone say like, "Man, this is a fucking great record"?
So
I can appreciate a legendary artist knowing
Sure.
they're at the end of their life and they're going
and the
to
fact
make
that he picked
a
them
final statement. That is
says a lot.
I often mention Marlo Sanchez. We're all good friends with him. Happy 50th birthday, Marlo. A
Yeah.
lot. I've been writing music and working with him on off stage. We're just having fun with him for half my life. And sometimes these simple things, like we don't know what we need until we get it, whatever. Like the most simple quotes. And Marlo has said this to me for like 15 years, depending, it doesn't matter what band. And it's just like you can't be great forever. Like if you
Yeah.
got 3 great albums, you're awesome. Whatever.
that's more than most of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Than
exactly.
almost all of us.
And I just think, listen,
So-
love Lou Reed, certainly. I mean, he couldn't transform me. And I love Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, and even some of the stuff after that.
Yeah.
But the last few years,
There are
have
a
been cool.
couple songs in the, like I lost complete touch with them during my, I guess, mid 20s to late 30s.
But also isn't-
But they were radio hits at that
But isn't
point, and a
also-
couple of them were good.
Sure,
a couple
sure.
of them were fucking awful. And those are the ones you hear all the time.
But isn't also rock and roll and punk and everything that's an extremist thing in music? It's a youth culture, to be honest with you.
Sure.
We're lucky that we still love it as much as we do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to be looking for new Metallica songs.
Right. That's true.
okay.
They've given us
You've
enough.
got enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But and then there's that NASCAR crowd element that
my
they got
gosh. Yeah,
into.
no, thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
True.
just to touch the load, reload, that shit is fucking. Nightmarishly
Reload,
bad.
deload, post-load.
And so then they did try to recapture it
Yes.
with Saint Anger, which is not a terrible record,
Doesn't
but it's
really-
kind of like the
doesn't really
last
me.
Slayer record.
It's like you're trying too hard.
Yeah, it's like a parody almost. But, I liked it a lot better than anything else
Yeah,
I'd heard.
I haven't listened to it, and I'm not going to. I will say
Don't,
this: the cool thing is, at the end of this, we're all going to be like this. And there's going to be a flame, and Orion's just going to be like,
Oh, man, yeah.
like that. But I'm so glad you came on, and I say in like 6 months you come on, and we talk about like an Anthrax record or something else,
Yeah.
maybe Russian Circles. Who knows?
Well, Death Angel Frolic Through the Park
Death
would be
Angel-
next.
I'd say Exodus and Testament for me. Oof,
Yeah.
they're close, man.
Testament they were huge for me. I think I saw them every year in my high school days because they would come and play at the center stage every tour cycle, and they put out a
right.
record a year.
Center Stage. I saw Concrete Blonde.
I got a
there.
black eye at one. A buddy of mine got all his teeth knocked out. That was overkill, actually, but
Overkill was great too. They're from So
good.
listen, we
So
just
you're
want
gonna
to say.
serenade us with some sheet music.
So yeah. So have you tried to play some of these?
Oh, okay. So this is not my original copy of Metallica Master of Puppets. I had it at probably 13, and it was so trashed at some point it went away. I bought this one about 7-8 years ago. Yeah, I still try to play all these songs.
I can't even.
It's for the guitar parts, James Hetfield is not like, he's just so super precise.
He's like John Baisley.
I got an interesting thing that I saw recently. Somebody took the masters of Master of Puppets. And using Pro Tools tried to figure out how accurate James Hetfield is in his down pick. 98%.
What?
Which
that's badass.
Is insane.
That
when
is
you
badass.
think about it.
Well, so then Saturday they probably were practicing 10, 12 hours a day. Good
yeah,
for them.
and not drinking apparently.
And
I saw them about a year ago. And man, let me tell you, he was not 98%. They were awesome, but they are all over the place.
Yeah.
Which I kind of respect because they clearly just have fun when they play. But also, they tour with a practice room, a tractor trailer, and they practice for 2 hours before every show.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's fucking crazy.
Man,
we gotta go.
Someone just said your credit card just bounced and you gotta get out of here.
Perfect ending for this one.
Mack Cole. Let's get you back.
Sure.
In the warmer weather.
Anytime, yeah.
When things are kinder.
We'll wear tank tops.
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna get filthy and dirty and talk about Dave Mustaine. I don't know.
Oh man.
No, we're not talking about Dave Mustaine.
He's a bummer.
Thank you to Metallica.
Yeah.
Master of Puppets. Thank you, James. Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you, Matt.
Glad to be
Thank
here.
you,
guys.
Matt.
Yeah, thank you guys. Super fun.
I'm gonna grab a hot toddy. Thank you, September Brewing, Armando, Donald,
All right.
Seth, cheers.
Boom.